Traveling to Consciousness, exploring spiritual journeys to find answers in uncertainty.
What is up, conscious monkeys? Welcome back to another podcast episode of Traveling to Consciousness. As always, I'm your host, Clayton Cuteri, and today's podcast, it's going to be a little bit of a short one, but we're also going to be discussing the debate that occurred last Friday, was it? Give you my opinion on it, give you my thoughts, let you know what stood out to me, what to expect. Before we jump into that, I just want to do a little bit of housekeeping, just let you guys know. A lot of stuff has been moving along in the background, so I know I haven't been putting out 2 episodes per week. I'm going to do my best to at least keep it on 1 episode per week. I don't want to slow down on this. We're having great momentum with everything that's going, so I need to continue pumping out great knowledge and wisdom for you guys, and just, not even just that, but just transparency, right? I was even thinking about this as well in terms of just having a podcast, like the amount of content that I put out, humbly, of course, right? I'm not trying to brag here, but we talk about so much in politics and in just life, right? Like leaders, people that we want to elect, leaders in our life that we want people to move forward. I don't think anyone has as much content put out as me. And I mean, I say that as humbly as possible. I know some of these people have probably been in politics for 50, 60 years. So through, them talking, I'm sure there's video and audio recordings that maybe go a little bit more than what I have. But if we're talking about like raw, uncut, uncensored, just pure, authentic content, I find it hard to believe that there would be anyone out there. And I pose this challenge. I mean, I could be wrong here. Maybe there's a couple other ones, but I haven't found really any other politicians that have these long form podcasts like myself. And I try to say that as humbly as possible, but also hopefully as like a guiding light or like a call to transparency. And hopefully that at least shows my transparency as well. I don't know how I got down this rabbit hole. But I guess the point that I'm trying to make is just that it's so important. It's so important for our leaders and the people who are going to take us into the next phase of our existence as humans to be transparent, to be even accountable, because I think that's super important. And where I'm getting at here maybe, and this makes a lot more sense, is the debate, right? The lack of accountability or transparency. And why do I say this? Well, if we pull the curtains back a little bit and objectively look at the quote unquote debate, the debate that we had was a complete dog and pony show. In my absolute opinion, it was just an absolute dog and pony show. And everyone wants to talk about who won, who lost. The people that lost were the American people, the American citizens, we the people. We, like, anyone who pays taxes in America lost. Because that debate was purely about debating on who lies more. That was it. That was all the debate was. And I've seen fact checkers on both sides. Numerous lies on both sides. And it's absolutely, to me, it's just, what's the word? I don't know if there's a word. Disingenuous? Disingenuous would probably be the best word for it. Because here we are as American citizens trying to look at who we want to select for our future. What is the future that these two gentlemen want to bring forward in America? What's our path forward? And instead, we're talking about whose handicap's better in golf. We're talking about porn stars. We're talking about just straight up lies, if you will, from both sides. And I'm not trying to justify any of this. I think it's apprehensible for our leaders to be sitting here and just make a mockery of us. I mean, I think combined it was probably like 10 million views, if you will, throughout all the different streaming platforms. Probably a little bit higher, if we're being honest. I don't really know the numbers. I'm just, from the numbers I saw, it's probably at least 10 million. And all they did was point fingers at whoever was lying more, whose economy was better, who did this, who did that. And to me, I see this as being revolting, at the very least. I think there's some conspiracies you could kind of throw around. I mean, right off the get-go, within 5 minutes, it made sense to me why this was the earliest, what are we talking about here? The earliest debate between presidential candidates. And to me, it definitely seems like, they're trying to get Biden out of there. To me, I think that's also despicable for everyone who voted in the primary, because they knew this. I think they had to have known this, because then watching CNN's coverage after the debate, this half round table of 10 people sitting around acting as if they didn't know that Biden had these mental health problems. Like, to me, it just all seemed calculated, and then the media just flipped on him. So to me, I think it's apprehensible that neither of these politicians wanted to actually talk about their vision for the future, and instead we got lambasted with 90 minutes of tomfoolery. I think that's insane. I think that's absolutely insane and very disingenuous to the American people. And living in this modern era, right? Living in the 21st century with technology, with AI, ChatGPT, all of these things at our fingertips. For them to think that we can't just go and look up all of these things and instead they're just going to lie, to me, that's insane. Absolutely insane. And so with all this being said, I guess the point that I'm trying to get at is just that it's nonsense. To me, it's absolutely nonsense, and highlights the fact that we need a changing of the guard in politics. It absolutely highlights the fact that we need something like the American Congress Party. And I don't see this farce going away anytime soon. I mean, maybe people are surviving. I mean, people seem to be finding a way to survive with this out of control inflation. I've seen prices at Costco have doubled over the last year. There's a guy who did a really great TikTok on it. So somehow Americans are hanging on by a thread, and I don't understand how they're doing it. I mean, God bless all of you that are able to do it. The point I'm trying to say here is I don't know, and I hate to say this, but I don't know if things have gotten bad enough for people to objectively be like, okay, it's time for the American Congress Party. And I think that's what probably saddens me the most, is that it seems like, hopefully it doesn't, but it seems like things still have to get worse before enough of the population's eyes open up to the fact that neither the Democrats nor the Republicans have the best interest of the American people in mind. Because if they did, they would be addressing the issues such as the fact that we're poisoning our food, we're poisoning our water, we're poisoning our air. These would be like the top issues within Congress. They'd be talking about the fact that insurance costs and medical costs are out of control, absolutely outrageous. That's what they would be discussing, is how do we reel that in? How do we address the issue that we have with, what was it? I wish I remembered the thing. Insulin being some astronomical prices, and I apologize for not having pure data there, but I don't want to just pull numbers out of nowhere. But it's absolutely absurd how expensive medications and just pure living has become. Because I know that there's a common phrase, which is afford to live, and it's this like belief that you have to do, like life just isn't inherently valuable, like you just can't inherently just live to be alive. And I think in terms of the American people, like it's sad. I mean, I find it extremely sad, very disappointing. Because let's be real for a second, right? And this is probably, what I'm about to say is probably coming from a place, a little bit of ego, a little bit of definitely masculine energy. But I also look at it in terms of, like, what legacy do you want to leave on the world? What legacy do you want to leave? And I look at these politicians and I think, do you ask yourself that question, or do you just not care? Because to me, I don't know, just personally, I'd rather leave a great legacy of creating peace on earth than, oh, well, I get to survive I get to live in the Hamptons, or I get to live in, West Palm Beach, or I get to have a house at Capri Island. Don't get me wrong. Of course, that's nice. Everybody wants that. But to me, I feel as though for some reason, and I don't know if it's biological, I don't know if it's my soul speaking here, but something just seems so much more valuable to be able to leave a legacy of creating peace and harmony, making people healthy, if you will. And I don't know if that's just me. I don't know if that's just a me thing. I mean, I feel like that's an intrinsic thing of life, right? Like, that has to be like a chemical process that makes us want to produce, right? It's like we want to have offspring, we want to leave a legacy. So then I guess the question is why is it that the majority of politicians, not all of them, majority of politicians find it that having nice things is more important than leaving a legacy? I guess that would be a question to ask. But man, if these people truly had our best interests at heart, which I objectively don't think they do, because if you look at the media, the majority of things that they've talked about are the nonsensical killing of innocent people in these foreign wars. They're more interested in banning an app, TikTok, than stop poisoning our food. So again, I truly think that it's the epitome of self-serving. And I truly, and I don't hold any of these people personally responsible. Let me be clear about that. I think it's the system, and I don't think that any of them have a vision in order to get us out of that system. Maybe they don't care. Maybe they're just going along with the flow. Maybe they don't know. Again, I don't hold any of the individuals responsible. I think, a lot of them seem intelligent. They seem articulate. Maybe they just want people to like them. I honestly don't know the full answer. I think a lot of them, honestly, I feel like if I were to go scuba diving with them in the Bahamas for a week, I'm sure we'd be best friends. But the problem is that the policies that are being put forth, the documents that they're signing, are putting citizens at risk. They're putting the American people at risk. They're putting our future generation at risk. And maybe they're blackmailed. I don't know. Maybe they're just doing it because they want to be liked. But luckily I know I don't have anything to be blackmailed about. I've put basically my entire life story on my podcast. So I don't know. I don't know what it could be. I guess, time will tell. Time will tell. But with that being said, the question I guess that comes up is how can you help this, right? If everything I'm saying here resonates with your soul at some level, just even a little bit, maybe it's just a sprinkle of resonance, then there's ways you can get involved. Number one, you can email me, contact@clayton24.com. See how you can get involved, because we need support. We need help. We need help to bring the world into peace and harmony, because a new age is coming, and that's what's on the docket. So if you want to help, if you feel like you can help in some way, shoot me an email. Another very simple way that I've been encouraging people to do is to change your voter registration wherever you live to be a part of the American Congress Party. Because whenever you get your driver's license or you sign up to be a voter, it will say, what party you want to be a part of. What party you want to be a part of. Say that 5 times fast. Actually, that might not be too difficult. I digress. You can change that to American Congress Party. What you usually will have to do is click other and then type in American Congress Party. And again, guys, these things seem so small. And I've seen it so much in my life where these small little ripples can have the most profound effect in the world. The most profound effect. So be that ripple. Be the little stone that gets thrown in a pond that creates the ripple. Because if you listening invites 5 other people and everybody who's listening does that, we're going to have an army in no time. A peaceful army. One that doesn't require bloodshed in order to restore balance and honestly restore the government to the people, restore government to the American citizens, so we can get back on the right path. Because from what I saw the other night with the debate, neither of the main 2 options have a vision for how we want to get back on track. And to me, I think it's inexcusable. It's inexcusable. And maybe that was their egos talking. I don't know. I'm not going to speak to them. I'm sure they're great people. Again, I think both of them, if we were to hang out and get a beer, well, I don't drink, but if we were to go play golf, I'm sure we would have a great time. But it still comes down to how it's being created in the public perception. So we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. Hopefully you guys feel encouraged to get involved. And if you don't feel encouraged to get involved, then we're going to have a talk about it whenever we see each other in the 6th dimension.